What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, JC 2.5 Gamers UK, and if I look like a very sweaty mess right now, it is because I have been sat in this very chair coming off the back of a playthrough of Doom: The Dark Ages. I've now done the entire series on stream of me just playing the game, and whilst the game is still fresh in my mind where we've just beaten it, so literally you guys can tell when I'm recording this, is just after I finish streaming the final part. Obviously I'm going to try and get the parts on the YouTube as quick as I can. Whilst the game is still stuck in my noggin, I figured let's talk about it for a review. As I say, I don't really like to script my reviews. I like to just go in with the thing fresh in my head, so if you're expecting some like next level IGN or Some Call Me Johnny or type review, which by the way I'm a Some Call Me Johnny fan, I like his reviews, I'd love to see him review this game, to be fair. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's how you can tell this isn't scripted. If you're expecting those kinds of reviews, they're not really how I tend to do things. I tend to just go in basically with the game raw in my head, and as I say, I'm recording this right after I've just finished the game. So what do I think of Doom: The Dark Ages? Well, it is safe to say that id Software have not made a bad Doom game in this new trilogy. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and this game are all really good games. Really solid entries in the franchise. Obviously, not to give away too much of the story, although by this point, maybe many of you have probably seen it, but this game takes place before Doom 2016, so depending on what you want to do, if you want to play the games in timeline order, you got to play this game, 2016, then Eternal. If you want to go in release order, then you play 2016, Eternal, then this. The thing is, I would recommend playing them in release order because the way this game feels, you can definitely tell it's the newer game. Obviously, it's on the newest hardware, but you can get all the games on the new Xbox. They're all on the Game Pass as well, which definitely helps, by the way, and is definitely one of the other reasons why I recommend this game. I mean, obviously, if you want to pay full price for this game, or if you want to get it on PlayStation, then by all means do so. But it definitely does help that where Microsoft now own Bethesda, that they now release all these games on Game Pass. So it is very accessible for Xbox players. Again, though, just for Xbox players. PlayStation, unfortunately, unless it comes on PS Plus Extra, or PS Plus Essential, or PS Plus Premium, oh my god, why is there so many PS Pluses? You're out of luck. I mean, to be fair, actually, at the time of me recording this, I think Eternal's still on PS Plus Extra, so I can even flip back over to my PlayStation and play Eternal again, which I'm definitely going to do, because I really like this game, but I will say Eternal was better. Eternal was better. Let me break down as to why. Doom Eternal set a really, really fun formula, which was basically, it had this mechanic where, well, for starters, Doom Eternal was faster, it was floatier, and I think when I play Doom, that's what I prefer. I like Doom as a fast-paced shooter. I like being able to run up to demons and literally do as the game basically says in its line, rip and tear until it is done. The thing about this game is it's a lot slower. A lot slower, and you will see that if you go back and watch my playthrough, which please by all means do after you've watched this video. It's a very fun playthrough, and I know the stream videos are quite long, but just put them on in the background while you do the dishes or cook dinner, or while you're in the office bored and you want to listen to something. I know you guys sometimes put our videos on in the background, so why not put the streams on in the background and just let them play? Just let them play. But anyway, this game is a lot slower, and you'll see that in the beginning of my playthrough. I felt that in the beginning of my playthrough. Now, obviously, I played the game on hard, which is my own fault. I know, I chose to go in on hard because I'm already used to the new Doom trilogy formula. However, this game changes that formula in the sense of, like I said, it slows it down. And you really feel that in the beginning, especially on hard. In the beginning on hard, it is so sluggish, and Doom Guy feels so rusty that it feels like an uphill battle. Like, every fight felt really hard. You'll see it in those beginning streams. I die a lot in those beginning streams. Don't get me wrong, I still die later on in the game. But something that I noticed during my playthrough was, even though, like, later in the game it should get harder, but the thing is the upgrades, as well as, like, me getting used to the mechanics, made it get, if anything, easier. Which is crazy to think of, but that's genuinely what happened. Like, as I was progressing and unlocking all the health upgrades, the armor upgrades, the ammo upgrades, especially the ammo upgrades, because it made all the guns, especially the plasma rifle, just absolutely broken. The game, if anything, felt like it was getting easier. The real hard bit, on hard, is the beginning. In the beginning of the game, Doom Guy is like a sluggish tank, and that's the key thing here. And even if you watch Bethesda behind the scenes, well, I say Bethesda, id Software behind the scenes videos, you'll see that that's basically what they wanted you to do. They wanted to make Doomguy a tank in this. He's a lot heavier, he's a lot slower. The main reason being he's got that big clunky armor, and the other thing as well is the shield. Now, yes, there is a shield in this game, a chainsaw shield, and the devs really want you to know that. The devs really want you to know that. The shield is the most important part of the game. If you do not master the parrying and making that shield your best friend, if that shield isn't basically a part of you like it is a part of Captain Bloody America, you are going to die, and you are going to die a lot. You have to get really good at the parrying. The good thing is that in the game settings, you can adjust the parry window. Like, that's the thing. Even though I set the game to hard, the parry window is very generous. I don't know if maybe playing on the even harder difficulty, I think it's called Nightmare, I don't know if maybe that lowers the parry window, but even you can go in the game settings and you can even tweak the parameters. So you've not only got the standard difficulties you can select, you can also make tweaks to those difficulties to make the game even harder. Would I recommend you do that? I mean, I guess if you want more of a challenge, but I will say already from my playthrough on hard, the first, I'd say, 11 chapters are really bloody hard anyway. So I don't think you need to make any necessary tweaks. If you want to, great. I don't think you need to, though, in the first few levels. You might later on in your playthrough as you, like, make Doomguy better, but then at the same time, you don't want to make him better then make the game worse. Not that I mean that, like, you're making the game worse in terms of the gameplay gets worse. I mean, like, again, what's the point of unlocking all the upgrades and then changing things in the settings to then make it even harder again, unless you find the game too easy, even on hard. But even then, I will say hard kicked my ass in the beginning so many times. Like I say, watch it in my playthrough, but the first 11 or 12 chapters, I struggled, and you will see that throughout my playthrough. So again, go watch my playthrough. But yeah, overall, this game is quite sluggish. When I play Doom, I like the fast-paced nature, and that's the thing. You'll notice that in 2016 and Eternal. 2016 was quite fast, but you can tell it's the first game, and it laid this groundwork for this sort of floaty, again, run and gun gameplay. And then Doom Eternal perfected that. One thing in Doom Eternal, and maybe I'll elaborate more on it if I do a review of Doom Eternal, which let me know if you guys want to see me do a review of Doom Eternal. I'd have to play the game again, because I haven't played it in a very long time, but I remember it so vividly, because it's my favourite in the trilogy. But Doom Eternal perfected the run and gun fast-paced gameplay in the sense of every fight, basically there was like 3 ways you could kill every demon. So you had glory kills that restored your health, you had flaming kills where basically you set a demon on fire and then you kill them and that restored your shield, and then you had your chainsaw which gave you full ammo. The reason why I like this is because they all made the flow of battle, you'll know what I mean when you play the games, they made it flow really, really nicely, and they made every encounter feel like a puzzle. And that's something that I quite like. I like when I'm going into Doom and I'm running in, but as I'm running in, I'm thinking, because I'll think, oh, okay, I'll shotgun that enemy, glory kill that one, get some health, set that dude on fire, kill him, get some armor. Oh, okay, now I'm low on ammo, I'll chainsaw this guy, get some ammo. Like, I love that, and the thing is you do that, but you do it quite fast, and it might just be a me thing. If you prefer slower paced games, you're going to love this game, but this is my review, and that's not me, unfortunately, so for me, this game, yeah, it was quite sluggish, but I still like it over 2016, because like I say, 2016 now has the problem where I call it first game syndrome, where you know, because it's the first game, you can really tell the developers were trying everything for the first time. Again, maybe I might even go back to 2016 and play that again, but that's going to feel so weird now because these other 2 games do exist. So if I was to rank them now, I'd have to put 2016 as the lowest, then this game, then Eternal. I just feel like Eternal, for me, again, this is a me thing. It's my review, guys. This is JC Reviews Doom the Dark Ages. You could have a different opinion, and I'd love to hear your opinion, so please leave it in the comments. For me, I just prefer the faster pace. I will say, I do love the shield. The shield is so cool. I wish the shield was in Eternal. I do really like the shield. I like the parry window. The parry window is quite generous. As I say, you can tweak it if you want to. I thought it was just fine. And you will see again if you watch my playthrough that I do get better with the parrying. So much so, and again, parrying is such a crucial mechanic in this game that you will end up running into attacks that you can parry, and I think the game wants you to do that. So basically the way the parrying works is enemies have their normal attacks and then they'll launch a green attack. So if the thing's green, it's parryable. Anything green is parryable, right? What ends up happening when you get really good with the parrying, and like I say, I think this is what the devs want you to do, is you will run into those attacks. You'll be shooting, killing demons, and then any attack that's not green, you'll be either trying to block, because you can block as well, but that does drain your shield's health, and if your shield breaks, for at least 5 to 10 seconds, you're exposed, and that exposure will kill you on the higher difficulty, so you do not want to be exposed. However, your shield's health doesn't lower if you parry, and again, you're going to want to parry those green attacks, because by doing that, you stagger the demons, and when you stagger the demons, that's what really opens them up to being killed. A lot of demons in this game, and I felt this especially in the earlier chapters, again, when I was weaker as well, the demons in this game are bloody bullet sponges. They take so much punishment, but the reason why is because it kind of reminds me of Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. They want you to stagger the enemies. They don't want you to just fight them as normal. But the thing is my brain thinks of Doom Eternal, where you didn't need to do that. But in this game, you really need to do that. Especially with boss demons. Boss demons will have a stagger meter. And unless that meter's full, you can't do shit to them. You will be shooting them, and they will literally just take that stuff in like sponges. They'll just absorb all that damage and just be like, huh. And they just carry on. It's like being in Captain America. He's just standing there saying, I can do this all day. And that's what all these enemies are doing. They can genuinely do this all day unless you parry those attacks. And when you get good at the parrying and you get good at the staggering, then you open them up to being killed, and then you kill them, and yeah. And then from there, it's pretty much smooth. Then it starts to feel like the other Doom games. One thing I will say that was quite disappointing, the animations don't feel as good in this game. Now, not necessarily, again, this game visually is stunning, and it will be. It's a newer gen game. It's on newer gen hardware, you know, Series X, PS5. The reason why I say this game animations-wise doesn't look as good, I mean in terms of Doom Guy. Doom 2016 and Eternal introduced the idea of glory killing, where basically you shoot a demon enough, they flash, and then you do a really cool kill that makes you feel like such a badass. You rip and tear through these demons in a way that it just, I don't know, it activates some weird dopamine in your brain. If you like shooting games, this activates some weird dopamine trigger in your brain that makes it so satisfying. You want to see Doom Guy tear these guys apart, right? Now, I guess maybe it's because of the story, because where it's a prequel, they want Doom Guy to be a bit more rusty. There were no glory kill animations really in this game. There were a couple, like when you kill an upgrade demon, which those are demons that basically, they'll have a little upgrade icon floating above their head. They're normally quite buffed, but they'll have either a health upgrade, a shield upgrade, or they'll have an ammo upgrade. When you kill them, you do a glory kill, although it's the same glory kill animation every time, where you rip their heart out, you crush it, you get the upgrade. But every now and then, there were moments where Doom Guy did do a different type of kill, and I thought, why the hell does he not do this all the time? In 2016 and Eternal, there were so many different kill animations with the glory kills, but then in this game, it just tends to be the same thing. You kick them, you punch them, you bash them with the shield. You throw the shield, you kick them, you punch them, you bash. That's all you ever see, unless it's the upgrade demons, or unless it's the bosses, because then with the bosses, you obviously get a cutscene where Doom Guy does, again, like a glory kill style animation, but again, like, I want to see that in the gameplay. I want to see Doom Guy do a multitude of kills. I've played Doom Eternal so many times, but even sometimes I'll go back and play it, and I look and I think, oh my god, I haven't seen that one before, or I haven't seen that one. With the glory kills, there were so many animations. With this game, it was like 5 or 6 animations, and you see them over and over and over again. It got really repetitive really quick, and it just made it seem boring, and like, again, not as good. Which is weird, because this is the newer game. This is the game on newer gen hardware where they can go more ham with the glory kills, where they can go more expressive. Like, I'm not being funny, the dismemberment mechanic from Doom Eternal returns, where as you're shooting the demons, you see chunks of flesh fly off, there's blood everywhere. That's the sort of, like, fidelity we like to see in Doom, right? And I'm saying that as I hope to speak for the community of Doom fans that like to see that fidelity, which also, that's not in 2016 either. To not utilise that with the glory kill animations was such a waste. I want to see Doom Guy rip and tear, but he barely does that. This is more like Doom Guy just shields and bashes. Or bashes and mashes. I don't really know what you want to call it. Although, to be fair, mashing is also quite accurate, because they changed the melee. In Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, you can melee to your heart's content. It's not very effective unless it's a glory kill, but you can melee as many times as you want. Meleeing in this game has ammo. Why? Why does meleeing have ammo? Why am I limited to how many times you can melee? Especially if you are going for a more medieval Doom Guy being a tank style game. So obviously where you've got the shield, right, I'd like to think of melee as the sword. But Instead, melee isn't the sword. Melee's like a very slow, shitty gun. Now, when you first start off, you just have your fists, then you get a mace, then you get this giant bat, which, to be fair, the bat was my favourite. I love the feeling of when you just smack a demon with this big old club, and then they explode, chunks of flesh everywhere, and melee's how you get your ammo back as well, which also is why I'm confused why it was limited. Like, melee has an ammo, but then you use melee to get more ammo. Make it make sense. And if anything, bring back the bloody chainsaw, which the chainsaw isn't in this game, and I miss the chainsaw. But yeah, melee has ammo. I don't know why. I didn't like it. It was very annoying. Towards later points in the game, it was quite easy to refill your melee, but there were a lot of times, and again, go watch my playthrough, you'll see it, where I'm spamming melee, nothing happens, and it's because I ran out of melee ammo. And when that does happen and you're low health and you're getting bombarded, and then and your shield breaks, by the way, which, yeah, that, like, because you're blocking all these attacks, again, you're exposed. And when you're exposed, you die. You die very quick. This game, oh my god, like, again, I know I played it on hard, so I made the challenge for myself. But you can't have your back to the demons, and you can't have that shield break at all. You literally get absolutely decimated if that happens. They really want you to treat the shield as your best friend, and they want you to basically always be facing the enemy at all times. Almost to the point where when you're fighting the bigger demons, it's almost like a duel. Like, you've got your shield, and like I say, your gun, in essence, is your sword, and your melee, I guess, is also your gun, as weird as that sounds. But every encounter feels like a duel. Every encounter feels like a 1v1, to the point where you want to get rid of the little guys quicker to make it so that with the big demons, you are just doing a 1v1. That was definitely the case with the Cyber Demon. Oh my god, the Cyber Demon was one of the hardest demons in this game. And that's weird because you've got so many other variety of demons that feel like they should be hard. Obviously, you've got the returning demons, you've got the whip snake demon, you've got the ghost jetpack flying demons, you've got the big old demons with the flamethrowers, you've got the pinkies that now, if anything, they've become like these sort of ride-on demons to these jockeys that have a bow and arrow. Like, all the returning demons are there, and the biggest returning demon is obviously the Cyber Demon, but fuck me, they made the Cyber Demon so hard in this game. Every time there was a Cyber Demon on the field, immediately my mind went, right, he needs to go. He has got to go. And if he's buffed, oh my god, well, you're again, get good with the parrying, otherwise you're cooked. Because he will literally destroy you in like 2 or 3 hits. And if you even try and run away from him, he just launches floor spikes. Everything this guy does try to kill you. To be fair, everything every demon does tries to kill you, obviously. But with the Cyber Demon, you notice it the most. And I didn't think that would be the case, because there's another demon in the game who has a shield. He's basically like a clone of Doom guy. I like to think of him like the Marauder in Doom Eternal. But he's not the Marauder. I think he's called like the something champion, but he's got a big old shield himself. I thought he'd be the demon to duel. And don't get me wrong, they do use him quite a bit. The first time you fight him, he's a boss. Then every other time he appears like a normal demon. He was easier than the Cyber Demon. He was very easy to parry, he was very easy to manipulate, and once I got his pattern down, he was annoying because he had this force field thing that you had to parry it in order for it to drop so then you could kill him. But honestly, the Cyber Demon was harder. Hell, the Cyber Demon was harder than the final boss, and the final boss you have to fight multiple times. So now, obviously, going into a bit of spoiler territory, although, I mean, to be fair, at the time of me posting this review, this game's been out long enough. Surely you've seen spoilers of what the final boss is, but you basically have the main villain. You fight him a lot, especially towards the end of the game. Like, there's this whole big build-up to fighting him, and then in the second to last chapter, you fight him in a 3-phase fight. So you fight him in his god form, then he gets an even more powerful god form. I guess you could call it a godder form, a godlier form, I don't know. And then you fight him a 3rd time, right after he murders the beloved dragon, which I love the dragon. I'll get into some side mechanics after I talk about this, but yeah. And then after you beat him, because it's the second to last chapter, you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, so wait, what's the last chapter for? But then he runs off, and then you got to fight him again. And when you fight him again, you then have to fight him with his little side character, which is this evil witch, and you kill her to basically get her to drop a force field that she's put on him, and then you fight him in his normal form, and then you finally kill him. I liked the final boss, I will say, out of all the 3 Doom games, and you're going to notice me comparing this game to the other games a lot. I mean, that's going to happen. The other games do exist, and obviously I'm not playing this game as my first game. I'm playing this game, well, in release order, so this is the 3rd game of the new trilogy. I really liked this final boss. I will say, even though I prefer Eternal as a game, I liked this final boss. I do think it went on for a bit too long. I would have liked it if the 3-phase fight was in the last chapter. I didn't think it needed to be in the second to last chapter. Like, I would have preferred it if in the second to last chapter you fight him, he scurries off, then in the final chapter he goes into God form, and then you have to fight him 3 times. Like, you maybe twice in God form, then you depower him, and then you fight him in his normal form with the witch, or maybe without, because the witch was also kind of annoying. But yeah, and the last level, oh my god. In the final episode, you visually watch me get bored of the last level. The last level goes on for too long. But I also think it doesn't help the fact that, like I said, you fight the final boss in the second to last level. So when you then have to play another level to fight him again, that's too much. That's too much. The appropriate amounts of build-up are good, but then too much build-up and it just becomes a slog. And you'll see that in my playthrough. There were so many moments where I was walking into the next room in the final level, and then there'd be more normal demons, and I'm like, oh my god, really? Again? And again and again, and literally it does this until you get to the last door. Then when you get to the last door, you breathe that sigh of relief that there's just no more level, and then you walk in and then you fight the final boss. If anything, you don't feel satisfied. I mean, you do, but you don't. You feel kind of knackered, and I will say that's another problem I had with this game. This game made me feel drained in a lot of points. I mean, I've done long stretches of playthrough. You can tell by like how long each episode length is of my streams. But I do feel like this game, it must be because of the slower pacing, but it's weird. Like, to go back to the other 2 games, and I shared this story multiple times on stream, and I'll share it again, because if you're watching this video and you haven't watched my streams, then you haven't heard this story. When I first played Doom 2016, half an hour turned out to be 3 hours. It was crazy. Like, the pacing was so good that in my head, I thought I'd only played for 30 minutes. Next thing I knew, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, we're talking, I started playing the game at like 8 or 9 at night, and then for me, what felt like half an hour had actually been several hours. I love that. That is the sort of thing I like from these sorts of games. And to be fair, that's a sign of a good game. If a game hooks you for hours, but it doesn't feel like hours, that's incredible. This game doesn't do that. This game, you'll be playing, and you'll feel like you've played for 4 hours, and next thing you know, and I know this because I was looking at my stream timer, you've only been playing for 1 hour, or even 50 minutes, but it feels like you've been playing for 4 hours because it's so sluggish, it's so slow, and especially in the earlier chapters, you'll see it in my playthrough, there were so many times where I just visually look exhausted. I felt exhausted, and then even probably like my chat must have thought, oh fucking hell, JC's like not as enthusiastic as he normally is. This game makes you feel tired, and that's not how games should really make you feel, because think of the average person who goes to work, probably has to come home, deal with the kids, and then they just want to play some Doom, and then if the game is making them feel just as tired as the day they've just had at work, they're not going to want to keep playing. And obviously that's the whole point of a game. The whole point of a game is to keep you playing. And I will say there are some points in this game where you do want to keep playing, but the sluggish pace doesn't help that. And again, this could just be me. Let me know in the comments down below if maybe you didn't feel the same way, if maybe you thought that the pacing was actually really good. I honestly didn't think the pacing was quite good. I thought the pacing was really, really slow, really, really sluggish. I feel like that's what the devs wanted, because like I say, they wanted Doomguy to be a tank in this game, and let's be real, tanks in real life are slow. They're powerful, but they're slow. But even then, in this game, especially on higher difficulties, you don't feel powerful at all. You feel slow and weak, and that doesn't work. Whereas in the other Doom games, you had the speed. You know, like things like the dash is gone, and it's instead replaced with the shield bash. And again, Doomguy can't even double jump. That was another thing. You can't double jump in this game. You only have a single jump, and even then, that single jump is so slow, but they replaced that with the shield throw. Like, sometimes you can throw the shield and then you can catch it, and you kind of do like a little jump. Things like that. It works, and it's not bad, but it's not necessarily good either, in my opinion. If anyone really loves it, again, let me know in the comments. But for me, that's not why I play Doom. It's actually crazy. You could probably swap Doomguy out with another character, and then my brain would sort of tweak that to say, actually, this is good for another. Do you know what? This works as a Warhammer game. You know what? Again, you can tell these videos aren't scripted. I just thought of that on the fly. But if this was Warhammer, where you play as those big, you know, Space Marine sentry dudes, and they got the shields and they got the shotguns, which is actually funny because Warhammer Space Marine came out last year. That works. But this isn't what I expect from Doom. Doom has always been fast-paced. Even the classics, you know, the 2D pixely, well, I say 2D, they've always been 3D, but the pixelated Dooms, they've always been fast-paced. All of them. This is the only one that I've played so far. I mean, I guess you could say 3, but 3 just sucks in general. This is the only one so far where the pacing really hurts the game. And on top of that, the pacing also hurts the story. When you've been playing, and again, it feels like an absolute slog to get through, by the time you get to the cutscenes, you're just phased out. I honestly could not tell you much of the story in this game, because by the time anything in the story happened, I was so drained by the gameplay that, if anything, the cutscenes were like a good breather, and you'll see that on stream as well. I use the cutscenes as like an opportunity to have a drink and to just sort of take a deep breath. But honestly, I could not really pay much attention to the story, other than the fact that I know it's a prequel, other than the fact that I know that like the main villain was that demon dude and he wanted to take over hell, and he couldn't take over hell because everyone was scared of Doom Guy and Doom. I couldn't tell you any of the characters' names. That's another point. Like, this is what I mean. The story felt so second nature. I know you don't really play Doom for the story. You play Doom to kill demons, but at the same time, when you've got cinematics like this where they really want you to pay attention, but you've got this sluggish gameplay where by the time you get to the cinematics, you're already basically drained, it doesn't help the story at all. If you want to make a more story-focused Doom game, you need to make the gameplay more exciting and more like... Not that the gameplay wasn't exciting, but you need to make the gameplay more fast. And again, like the other Dooms, so that when you do get to the story, it not only serves as a breather, but you do kind of think, oh, okay, oh, story now, okay, cool. Then when the gameplay gets back in, you're like, oh, it's like changing gears, you know? Let the story be first gear, let the gameplay be third gear. Whereas it kind of feels like the story tried to be like third gear and the gameplay was first gear. And trying to find that biting point was, so sluggish. So yeah, in my opinion, this is still a really good Doom game. I'm not going to say it's a bad Doom game, and I would still recommend that you play it. I don't think you should play it before the other two, because again, it feels more polished than the other two, and that's another thing as well. I didn't run into any glitches or gameplay bugs, although in episode 1 I did have a recording bug, but that was a recording bug with my capture. That wasn't the actual game, that was my capture, where it kept being really, really weird. But in terms of like the game itself, yeah, no bugs, no glitches, no crashes even. I don't think the game crashed on me once. I never got booted back out to the Xbox menu. The game honestly runs really, really good. The polish is there, and again, mechanics-wise, you can see it's an evolution of Doom 2016. I actually really, really want to play 2016 now, just to see how much the first game syndrome is going to affect that game, because you can see the evolution of the gameplay. And now going back to 2016, it's going to feel really plain. But again, it's 2016 and Eternal had that pacing. Eternal is still my favourite in the trilogy. This game didn't surpass Eternal the way Eternal surpassed 2016. It's still a really good game, but it's just not better than Eternal. In my opinion, Eternal still ranks higher for me. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you rate this game higher than Doom Eternal? What is your new Doom trilogy tier list? And yeah, that's it now. This caps off the brand new Doom trilogy. I mean, obviously, I don't know if they're going to make it a quadrilogy, if they're going to release another game, and I don't know if they're going to release DLC. At the time of me recording this, there is no DLC. And I'll tell you what else there's none of. There's no multiplayer. Although I'm not too upset about that, but I know people that would have enjoyed multiplayer. Doom Eternal had really good multiplayer. The Demons vs Slayers multiplayer, that was really, really fun. There's also no Horde mode, which also feels like a missed opportunity, but at the same time, with the sluggish gameplay, would I really want a Horde mode? I'm not too sure. If they add one, maybe I will play that on stream and see how I feel about that. I loved Horde mode in Doom Eternal, because in Doom Eternal, like I say, the gameplay was just so perfect that if anything, you want to keep playing, and Horde mode is a perfect place for you to keep playing, to keep getting better at the mechanics, and to just enjoy the fast-paced gameplay. If they add Horde mode in this, I'll probably try it, but again, with how sluggish it is, unless they make it so that in Horde mode you have all the upgrades, then I don't really see the point of them adding a Horde mode. It would be good to see some more content come to this game, and at the minute, this game is only on PS5 and Series X. I would like to see a Switch 2 port of this game, because obviously the Switch has got 2016 and Eternal, although those could do with some updates on the Switch 2 as well. But I would like to see this game on Switch 2. I think the mouse controls would be really good. I actually would like to play this game with a mouse. I don't know if you can on Xbox. I didn't. I used a controller, and obviously I don't have a PC that can run this game. And I have my laptop, but that just I use that just for streaming. But on Switch 2, if they can optimize it properly, get it running at 60 frames a second and add the mouse features, that would be really, really cool and give me an excuse to revisit this game. And that's another thing as well. I will revisit this game. It's not that I did not enjoy this game, I don't think it's worth a revisit. If I ever replay the Doom trilogy, like I say, now it's a trilogy, I will revisit this game and I will enjoy it. And as I say, I probably will enjoy it more than 2016. But I won't enjoy it more than Eternal. So, yeah, to sum up this whole half an hour review, although I'll try and chop it up in editing, I like Doom the Dark Ages, but I like Doom Eternal more. So, it's a really good game, but Eternal was just still better in my opinion. So yeah, again, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this game, Doom the Dark Ages. Do you think it is better than Doom Eternal, or do you think it's worse? I am in the ballpark of it's worse, and I do think it's better than 2016, but now I'm just repeating myself. So before I ramble on too long and waste any more of your guys' time, I want to thank you all for tuning into this review. Let me know if you guys want to see more of these style reviews. Again, let me know if you want to see more scripted reviews. I'm not good with doing scripting for reviews, I'm not going to lie. I kind of just like talking about the thing whilst it's still fresh in my head. So again, if you like that sort of thing, then good, feel free to join me for some more reviews. I want to do some more reviews, to be fair. I used to do reviews before and I want to do more now. And to be fair, check out the other reviews. I'll obviously put the playlist at the end of this video, or you can go to the actual channel and check out the playlist anyway, where I reviewed other stuff. And as I say, I'm going to review more stuff to come. Probably even do some Platinum reviews. I need to do some Platinum reviews, actually. But like I said, I'm rambling on again. You can see these aren't scripted. But if you've enjoyed that sort of thing, again, let me know. Don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up. Please go check out my playthrough of this game where you can see my opinion form as I play it, because like I say, I'm recording this right after I've just finished streaming the last episode. So if you've been watching all this in chronological order, like you've been watching the playthrough and you're watching this, then great, welcome to the season finale. If not, and you're new and you've just watched this, then go back and check out the playthrough. Like I say, the streams are long, but you can put them on in the background, you can listen to them, and they're just overall fun. And to be fair, follow the Twitch so that you can see more of my streams and be a part of the journey as I play these games, beat these games. I'm rambling on way too much now, and I've held up way too much of your guys' time. But you know what? You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you for sticking out with me this long. I really, really appreciate it. The other two appreciate it as well, I'm sure. Which, yeah, check out the other content where it's not just me. Harry and Aaron join me as well, and we play a lot of games. Again, subscribe! Welcome to 2.5 Gamers UK. Subscribe, join the community. Unless you're already a regular, which if you are a regular, thank you again. That's going to be it from me. As per usual, you've been a wonderful audience. And like I always say, you'll see us, and we'll see you in the next one. So take care.